And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge. Well, this is a lowdown. This the Lakers are pretty down low, so it's actually kind of fitting that this would be a lowdown. The Lakers lose tonight to the Miami Heat. It was close mathematically, but Miami had basically every answer throughout, and it looked pretty clear from a coaching standpoint. One unit understood and bought into their coach's ideologies, and the other team that was playing in that game has not. There's a lot, I think, to get to from this game. And I think there's a lot of meat on these bones. So let's get to it. Really quickly off of the bat, this show is going to just exist on YouTube. We are still working out some wrinkles with Megaphone. And once I can house that episode there, I'll go back and add these to it. But for right now, the best way to tune into these things is going to be via YouTube. So please hit that subscribe button, like all of that good stuff. But let's get to it. The Lakers lose to the Miami Heat. 110-96 is the final. The Heat played 8 players in this one, and all 8 players, not counting the guys who came in at garbage time, but all 8 players who played meaningful minutes in this one scored in double digits. The guy who led the way was Tyler Hero. He scored 21. But you look at the plus minuses here, and this is just, it hurts my heart. You guys know this. I'm Mexican. I'm a UCLA fan. I care about impact type players. Jaime Jaquez scored 16 points, grabbed 8 boards, had a steal, a block, was a plus 24 in this one. A plus 24 that led the everybody in terms of raw plus minus in this one. And there was a play where he blocked Jalen Hood-Schifino going to the basket, and it just was just like, oh, I'm already not feeling great, right? You guys see me, I'm all bundled up. I'm already not feeling great, but just like to get kicked in los huevos, like it was just, oh, it hurt. It hurt so bad. I don't think he was getting crazy, like uproarious applause throughout the game. He had a lot of people there. I believe in this one is what the reports are coming out of the game. But he would be easily one of the most popular Lakers ever. Ever. A UCLA guy, a local guy, a Mexican. Oh, God. It hurts. It hurts. But hey, you got to move on. And the Lakers in this one, again, they lose 110-96. For the Lakers side, and we'll get to some of the stories here as we go along. Austin did get the start. Are the Lakers quitting? Where the hell is the zone offense? The Lakers in this one, I think before I get to any of those specifics, you guys all watched. If you're listening to this, you're a diehard fan, and you guys know what a team that gives a fuck looks like, right? Like you guys know what a team that is really passionate about winning and competing and all of those things looks like. And shouts to Justin Tyndall here with the super comment, but they aren't quitting because they have quit on they aren't quitting, they have quit because he quit on them. Reddish didn't even want to play, 1 assist, 1 missed 3, but 4 turnovers. The only question is, will Genie punt the season on 39-year-old LeBron? By not firing him, he is not it. Jason Kelly follows that up with, this year was supposed to be different. SMH, this sucks. I agree with both of you guys. It does look like the Lakers are kind of quitting on him. There have been several clips that come out of these games where they show guys sitting there on the bench, and most virally recently you had LeBron as Darvin is drawing up a play. He's just kind of like sitting back, just kind of chilling, and then it's time to break the huddle, and he just kind of like groans his way up, right? I recognize that, LeBron. I totally get it. But yeah, I just, from the get-go in this one, the Lakers had, I think, 8 or 9 turnovers in the first quarter. The Lane, I wasn't on Lakers playback because I am dealing with my second bout of strep throat in 2 weeks. But anyway, the Lakers dealing, wheeling and dealing to the wrong team throughout this game. They finished the game. They did slow down, the turnovers did. They finished with 21. They entered the fourth quarter with 20. But the the first quarter, where I think this game was essentially, it felt decided, because the Lakers stayed in that pocket, that 5 to 11-point pocket all game. I think the biggest lead that the Heat had while it was still competitive got up to 13, and then they just kind of like never looked back from there, wound up winning by 14. I think the highest the lead ever got was 16. But the Lakers in this one, like, it was just too clear watching them turn the ball over time and time and time again. And you mentioned Cam Reddish. He played 19 minutes in this one, 0 of 1 from the field, that being a 3-point attempt, and 4 turnovers in 19 minutes when you barely handle the ball is astonishing. That is incredible. And I thought that the Lakers, I thought they had some cool things going early. Austin got the start, and I thought the Lakers, before Miami went zone, were just really spamming the LeBron and AR actions. And then over the course of the game, Miami goes zone, and that takes away that as an option in the way that the Lakers were trying to go about it. And yeah, I just, to me, when I was watching this game and Jen was watching it too, she's just like, are they sick? And apparently LeBron might be. Is he sick of him? I don't know. But like, is he sick? I don't know. And the only guy who really appeared to show up in this one was Anthony Davis. And you look at his stat line: 29 points, 17 boards, 6 assists, 3 steals, 5 blocks in 43 minutes. And you can't keep wasting these efforts. You can't, because you're playing against this Miami team who didn't have Jimmy Butler. And for all of the things that, all of the reasons, I was legitimately, before we ran into some of these technical issues on the pod side, I was legitimately going to record an episode of like, all right, here's the glass half full. They are literally 500. So or before this one, they are now below it. But when they sat at 500, you could kind of say, all right, this is a glass half full, glass half empty kind of situation. And I was going to record like, hey, here are reasons to be maybe, if not optimistic, but like the sky isn't necessarily falling, or it doesn't have to feel like it's falling. But then they play this game and they get their asses kicked by a Miami team whose major, I think, advantage in this one was going zone. They don't have Jimmy Butler. They don't have the twin that, whose name I'm forgetting. But they just, it was there was no reason. Like, this felt like they kind of like the Lakers had the rest advantage. They're playing at home. There was no reason for this to feel as it shouldn't even been competitive from, in favor of the Lakers. But in this case, it was the opposite. It was like the Lakers were just kind of hanging on to the tiger by the tail, and eventually the tiger turned around and beat the shit out of them. So I don't know. The title of the show is Are the Lakers Quitting on Darvin Ham? And it's hard to watch that game and not start to feel like it. It's hard to watch that game and watch LeBron. I think he had 10 points going into the fourth quarter, finishes with 12, was a minus 20 on the night. He just looked disinterested. He looked disengaged. And I do kind of think, like, the Lakers in this one, they do start Austin Reeves, and we'll talk about that here in a second. They do start Austin Reeves, but then what happens? They take Vando out. And again, this core from last year has just been begging for the opportunity to get out there together. And we saw it for all of like 30 seconds, and then there it went. It was gone. And I think that the Lakers are just kind of fed up with this. And this isn't even like speculation. From what I've heard, that locker room is very tenuous. They are on very shaky ground. And that frustration with Darvin and with this stubborn indifference towards the guys who got him to the Western Conference Finals last year, it's grown old for that core guys. And I think tonight was one of the better examples, or worse, I guess, examples. One of the better examples of the Lakers just kind of saying, you know what, fuck this, whatever, we're done. And I I don't excuse that behavior, but I think it's worth explaining it. Like I said, though, Austin Reeves did get the start here. He finishes the game. He plays 37 minutes, 7 of 10 from the field, 2 of 6 from three-point range, 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Getting back to the free throw line was nice to see from him. He finishes the game with 24 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Did have the 3 turnovers, but that's kind of the creativity tax, I think. I thought that Austin again showed, yeah, this is why he should probably have been starting earlier, as Darvin has been very reluctant to move him back into that starting group. Didn't really have a Darvin, that is, didn't really have any other option but to stick Austin back in. I guess he could have started Cam and kept Vando in there, and the Lakers could have gone with their all-wing group. And, again, like from where I'm sitting, it was good to see Austin back in the starting group. But as I was texting around, I was like, it's one step forward, 2 steps back. It's a couple steps forward, 3 steps back. And again, the people that I was, kind of talking to and texting to in the moments leading up to the game, and certainly once the game started, and definitely once we saw, I think, that kind of collective will break a little bit, it did, the kind of tone of things is they don't really understand the direction that they're going in, right? You had you had only a couple days ago Darvin say that the starting lineup with Rui in there for Cam was going to be the starting lineup for the foreseeable future. And like, yeah, you have the injury that I'm not blaming him for that at all. But when you say that is going to be the lineup moving forward, you would think that that means that you're going to keep starting the wings. And again, I'm happy to have seen Austin there, but the Lakers have watched this coaching staff just fire mud ball after mud ball after mud ball at the wall, hoping that something sticks. But all they have to show for it is a whole shit ton of mud. And it's when all you have to show for, what have they played now? They have played they're 17 and 18. They've played 35 games. You're nearing the halfway point of the season. And all that you have to show for all of the, that run up to this point is a whole bunch of mud on your hands. You're going to sit there and say, like, what is the goal? Where's our rudder? What are the ideologies? What is our identity? What happened to the identity that we were utilizing when we were back in the in-season tournament and raced through that thing in the way that we did? Like, those guys who were sitting in that locker room are wondering all of those things, and there just isn't much of an answer. And I thought, I watched the ESPN feed in this one. I'm always kind of curious what the national guys have to say. Apparently, Stu Lance had his fill with this team. Totally get it. But exactly. Yes, perfect comment here. I was legitimately shocked when Ham put JHS in the game. I think that the lineup that the Lakers had to close this one, if they'd played together, it can't have been much more than 10 minutes together. And, I was watching the ESPN feed, and George Sedano, friend of the show, George Sedano, was interviewing Ham, and every response to, hey, what do you have to do? What do you have to do to get going against the zone was like, we got to be more. We have to be more. What was it? I forget what the term it was that he had. He was like focused or they basically like play harder, make quicker decisions, be more confident, do those things. And it's just like for the Lakers to this point, if all that you keep hearing is you have to play harder, you have to run faster, you have to, Lakerer, and you have to grittier and all those things. Like I wrote that for Substack last week. The more that you keep going back to that, with that being the message, at some point the Lakers are going to be like, hey, are you going to start coaching? Like, you're telling us to grittier and all that bullshit. Like, are you going to start coachier? Are you going to coacherer? Like, where are the adjustments? And the Lakers did make one adjustment, I thought, in this one, where against the zone they put AD in the middle of it, and basically just tried to feed him the ball in the middle of the zone. But there was no moving of the zone in the moments leading up to those passes there. You just kind of like rotating the ball around the perimeter, and then hoping that like by rotating it around there, maybe you find a crack, or you just like lob the ball up to AD in the middle of that zone there. But there was no action off of it. There were no handoffs off of it. There was very little cutting off of it. It was just kind of, hey guys, go figure it out. And to see a LeBron team, to see a team like LeBron is legitimately one of the smartest players you will ever watch play basketball. To watch him just like be a part of an offense that has no idea what to do with his zone. And I think Stu Lance apparently said that was the most zone he has ever seen played in an NBA game. And like the backhanded criticism there is like, there was no adjustment, so why get out of the zone? And again, like, when you have a coaching staff and when you have a head coach whose only response to every bit of adversity is you got to try harder, you got to keep gritting those teeth and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, all that stuff. Like, it's just at some point it gets old, and you start to realize, man, this guy's really outmatched, and there's no experience on that coaching staff that he's leaning on to help deal with that kind of stuff. So I just, Austin did get the start. It was great to see, but when you take Vando out of it, and that lineup again doesn't really see much time together, and it's just, and Taurean Prince plays 29 minutes, and in those 29 minutes scored as many points as I did. 0 of 5 from 3-point range, 0 of 6 from the field. Was continuously getting targeted by Miami's offense. When you see stuff like that go on, and you look over and Jared Vanderbilt only plays 16 minutes to Taurean Prince's 29. And when you see Jared Vanderbilt only plays 16 minutes to Cam Reddish's 19, that core is just kind of like, all right, man, cool. And I thought that this loss was very much like, all right, cool. And they're just kind of waiting for something to give, because it's going to at some point. And that is kind of where we're at here. Are the Lakers quitting? I started the show by reading a comment, and it's hard not to feel like they aren't. Like, it's hard not to watch that game there and watch LeBron, barely keep his 10 points or more streak alive. It's just, and then, apparently, per the comments in here, media just said LeBron left without talking to media day. Yeah, there's Dave McMenamin. LeBron James left without speaking to reporters after the loss. Jovan echoes it as well. Like I said, something's got to give. And I've been reporting for months now, or at least a month, that this locker room has grown pretty tired of the way that Darvin and his coaching staff has handled things. And, it really going to be curious. These next couple days are going to be really kind of fascinating. The Lakers have a really easy January coming up. And if you don't take advantage of this January, starting with a game like tonight, what do you do? Right? Like, what do you do? right? Again, Justin with the super comment, LeBron left without talking to reporters. LeBron, I've said it. I've said it plenty, right? LeBron knows exactly the response to everything that he says and he does. So when he leaves the locker room without saying anything to anybody, you know what's going on there. You know exactly where he knows exactly how everybody is going to respond to that, especially given some of the stories that have come out recently, some of them from me. I just I don't I don't know, like, we could talk about fake trades, we could talk about, personnel and rotations and all that stuff, but once a team kind of identifies their coach as a doofus, there's not much that can be done to save that sentiment. And I thought it was, perfectly summed up by that zone offense and the lack thereof, right? The lack of any discipline there, where, a couple passes around the perimeter, somebody sees an opening to shoot like a deep 3-pointer or something like that. No overloading, no runs baseline, no switches baseline, no high-low stuff between, the Lakers are playing two bigs for most of this game, whether it was LeBron and AD or Christian Wood and AD, and not having those guys, like, one guy cuts down to the block, strong side with the ball, while the other guy, cuts up to the elbow to get a more open pass there. Like, there was just nothing. There was no emptying of the zone. There was, a couple screens here and there, but it was it was 30 plus minutes of a zone that the Lakers never really adjusted to. And again, like, you listen to Ham, and look, like, those sideline interviews, those coaches almost never say anything. But I thought in this particular moment, it was kind of telling and kind of indicative of the problems that the Lakers have had with Ham this year, where he's telling them, you gotta be more forceful against the zone. You gotta make quicker decisions, and you gotta be more confident, and you gotta do all these things. And I think the Lakers at this point in the season, and now that they're reaching almost at the halfway point, are just kind of saying, like, all right, we'll keep on trying, we'll plug away. But you compare that to the vibes on the other on the other sideline there, where everybody is bought into physicality. Everybody is bought into the sacrifice that you need to play defense with. Everybody is just bought into everything that you need to do to win that basketball game. And that kind of juxtaposition was pretty damn evident. And again, these next couple of days are going to be really interesting to I'm going to start asking around again. Like, look, Darvin Ham, this is from Jovan Buha, we'll keep chipping at the rock and we'll break through. What the fuck does that even mean? Like, all right, man, we're gonna keep banging our head up against the floor. We're gonna keep banging our head up against this brick wall. Hey, Darvin, we could walk around. We could go over. We could do anything. We could leave this rock alone. We could adjust and stop using this paper hammer against the rock. Like, I just. I don't know, man. I do not know. I'm losing my freaking mind. All right, that is going to do it here for this episode of the Lakers Lowdown. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in the way that you did and the way that you have. Again, apologies for some of the hiccups here as we migrate the show from Blue Wire's Megaphone account to Odyssey's Megaphone account. Once we have that figured out, I promise that nothing will change for you. But in the meantime, tune in here on YouTube and subscribe and all of those good things. And until the next time you guys hear from me, I'm Anthony Irwin saying have a great rest of your day. Make somebody else's, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.